Hello, friends. It's Thursday. That means it's time for the newsletter recap. I gotta tell you right away that I have so much fun writing the newsletter because I know we're going to get to be here on Thursday and talk about it and do readings about it. It's so much fun. If you're here for the first time, thanks for being here. Tarot Topics Weekly Newsletter comes into your inbox every Wednesday. There is a link in the description to go ahead and subscribe. And if you haven't read the newsletter, it's archived right there on my website. Again, the link is right in the description. So this week, the topic is feeling it. So here's how that came about. I got to tell you, the Cancer new moon had me really squishy emotionally. So I'm like, yeah, I'm really feeling it. We can talk about that. But then I realized that when we talk about feeling and what we're feeling, we use the word feeling to describe both our emotions and our intuition. Gemini said, squishy. You know what I mean, though, right? Right? So, then I start thinking about, like, with emotions, how, in a way, we have all been taught to suppress our emotions, to feel shame for our emotions. And I know there's some gender-based stuff on that in society, like men are really taught to repress. Women are shamed for being emotional, but are assumed that like we are emotional, right? So it's different, but in whether, the way it sucks on both sides, right? And then there is the intuitive piece, that when we're doing intuitive stuff, when we feel something intuitive, that's what we're doing. We're feeling. It's also a feeling. But man, separating out emotions from intuition is so hard. So in the newsletter, I talk about having to let go of your desires and your fears in a tarot reading, that kind of thing. So today, we are going to do questions. It could be questions about emotional stuff. It could be questions about intuitive stuff. It could be questions about the interaction of those two things. I see y'all got the memo because I see your questions here. And a big, big thank you to Justine. Justine, thank you for being a member for more than 2 years, and thank you for starting us off with a super sticker. That is so kind. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super chats and super stickers are ways you can show your support for this broadcast, and I really appreciate Justine doing that. I also appreciate that Justine has been a member for more than 2 years and is also a moderator. So special thanks to all the members and the moderators. And there's lots of ways to support this channel. You can support this channel by subscribing. And if you don't subscribe, you can't comment, so you can't get a reading. And you can support this channel by liking this video and telling your friends to meet us here. All right. Why don't we hop over to CardCam and get these readings going, shall we? Wendy Robeson, good to see you. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. Yeah, come up with a question about emotions and or intuition or some combination thereof. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Over to CardCam, where you can see I'm being lazy again, working with the Wiser deck. I had one of you, I forget who it was, so kindly said, I'm always happy to see. Always happy to see the Wiser deck, because I'll laugh at myself, because it is the easiest, laziest choice for me. I could read this deck with my eyes mostly closed and one hand tied behind my back, standing on my head. But I have had someone say, you could use Wiser every time and it would still be great. So thank you. Oh my gosh, Pamela Lath, so good to see you. You have been a member for 33 months. Thank you so much. Martha Vink, these are great questions, right? Right. Okay, I am going to take these and the order in which I see them. Y'all know the drill. Amy Emberhart, it's so good to see you. Thanks for being here today. Appreciate you. Amy says, agreed, love Wiser Tarot. Yeah, well. So let's do this. Oh, Pamela Lath. Thank you. So very kind. Oh my goodness gracious. So as we just said, Pamela is celebrating her 33rd month of membership. And to celebrate has sent a super chat with love emojis. Thank you so much, Pamela. So truth be told, Pamela and I have known each other since I first started in business. Way back in the very, very, very beginning. So that's like really special. All right. Let us get going. First person I see is Barbie Bird. Barbie Bird, so good to see you. Yes, Pamela Lath, the Sprite days. Oh my gosh, you remember. Okay, story time, real quick, Barbie. I'm not going to make you wait long. So here's the whole story on that, real quick. When IT John and I first started dating, he said to me, "You're like a sprite from a dark forest." I was like, "What does that mean?" And he said, "Well, you know, you're light and airy and fun and floaty like a sprite or a fairy or whatever, but you're deep and you know, there's a depth there. So Sprite from the Dark Forest." So that became like our first business name, and we had a shop that was called Sprite from the Dark Forest. So yeah, those days, absolutely. We changed the name because when people think Sprite, they don't think fairy, they think a soda. And so they were like, "We're going to the woods to get a soda?" So yeah, that's why that name did not work for us, but it is still very much in my heart. Thanks for remembering that. All right. Gemini's son. Wow, I love that. I want to join Sprite in the Dark Forest tribe, right? Right? Ah, Wendy, see, I knew you'd come up with a question. Okay, enough chit-chat. Let us get to work. Barbie Bird. Hi, everyone. Great newsletter as always. I'm looking for some guidance on how to better regulate my emotions and general advice on trusting my intuition. Fair. Yeah, those are great questions. Okay, here we go. Regulating emotion. Here's the thing. To regulate it, you have to feel it, you have to acknowledge it, and you have to understand it. And you have to be willing to sit in it for a minute. I think very often we feel like regulation means avoid or ignore or compartmentalize. But no, for you especially, Barbie, you have to be willing to be in it and to acknowledge it with no shame, just no judgment. Just, this is how I'm feeling, this is what's going on. And like, this could just be the family I was raised in. No shade to my family. They were pretty awesome, but everyone gives their kids something to tell a therapist, right? It could be generational, I don't know. But my thing is like, I acknowledge the feeling and then I'm like, well, I'm really stupid for feeling that. Which is like, that's exactly what we don't want to do. So wherever that training came from, I can't be the only person on the planet who has that. So it's about acknowledging without shame and understanding, and that's how you regulate, to understand. Now, general advice on trusting your intuition. I will do that in one moment. Liz Moore, it is so good to see you. Thanks for being here, and thank you so much for the super sticker. Really, really appreciate it. That's so generous. Thank you very much for that. Very kind. All right. Okay. General advice. This is still Barbie Bird. General advice on trusting intuition. It really, I think in this context, we can see the Hanged One or the Hanged Man, depending on your deck, or the Hanged Woman, or whichever deck you're working with. We could see this card as offering a specific state of meditative surrender, where we are most intuitive, where we have no attachments, and yet we're going to want to be intuitive about the things where we really are attached to outcome. So like this guy here is not at all attached to outcome. It's just like, okay, I'm going to hang here for a while. Nothing else I can do. Here I am. And so there has to be complete acceptance that whatever I see, whatever I know, whatever I understand, I must accept that at least in this moment, this is what is true. So, hey, Trey Cameron, so good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than a year. We really appreciate you. My emotion toward my Saturn return is anger and not wanting to do whatever lesson it wants me to do and going against it specifically because of that. You contrarian. I love that. We're going to talk about this. There's more good here than you realize. What's the intuitive truth behind it all? I'm extremely one-track minded and don't care about the Saturn lesson. The very idea of it makes me want to go against it, even at my own expense, out of spite. Okay, so I recognize that you are recognizing yourself as a person who will cut off your nose to spite your face. And so we do recognize, very often that kind of behavior gets labeled as like sabotaging, self-sabotaging. Typically, I don't think it is, and I don't think it is with you. I think this could have to do with trauma from people who were trying to teach you in the past. It could have to do with the fact that your intelligence and your unique way of looking at things has been marginalized. Or it could just be something about who you are. Who you are. And, the idea of like just leaning in, like there's I'm going to say this, I'm going to read on it, and we'll see what happens. But like for me, Saturn, like the Saturn return is about becoming. Like for me, it's not so much about the lesson that you learn, it's about becoming who you're going to be for the next 28 years. And so it looks like what you want to be is a contrarian for the next 28 years, which, I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing if you can use it to your benefit. If you can look at things from another perspective and value that perspective, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So that's what I have just off the top of my head because it's such an interesting thing that you're saying. Let's see what the cards say, though. What is the truth about how you're feeling about your Saturn return? I think it has everything to do with some sort of authoritarian energy that has been visited upon you that you do not like. And so you're seeing that authoritarian aspect of Saturn. I think, though, that it's also true that like you need to be the conglomerate of these two energies, right? You need to have enough stability and enough community to function, but you also need to be this okay, is the Fool a contrarian? Well, the Fool is ruled by Uranus, and it's all about doing it your own way. And so I think this is about, I just said too many words when I only had to say these following words. I think what is really true about this Jeannie says, contrarian and challenging are sisters. Yeah, we need people who will challenge the status quo. Yeah, exactly. But I feel like you resist your own authority because your own authority is different from authoritarian voices that have suppressed you. So how do you find your authority in a way that does not suppress yourself and in a way that does not suppress others, which you don't want to do anyway, but you will suppress yourself. So I think it's about your relationship with authority. And I think it's the fact that, I don't think there's anyone in this room who is like the other children, We are different from the other children. That's why we like each other. And I think it's about celebrating your uniqueness rather than conforming. I think you think about the lessons as asking you to conform because so many times lessons have asked you to conform, and you can't conform. You have to do the opposite. So, there it is. Right. And in the chat we got, yeah, no, they're not like us. Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. All right. Gemini Sun, thanks for being a member. Thanks for being a moderator. Thanks for using members only emojis. How do I not sit in my emotions too long and stop overthinking so much? I know deep down I just care a lot and it's not something to be ashamed of, but I want to focus and not let this hold me back at the same time. So when we look like, I mean, on one hand, that could be sort of broad, like I do this thing. But on the other hand, I think you may be doing this thing right now about a specific thing. So, so let's take a look. I'm just going to answer the questions, whether it's about something specific right now or long term. I think the answers are going to be the same. So how do you not sit in your emotions too long? By sitting in them fully the first time. The reason that it's taking a long time is that you need to dig deeper to unpack them. You need to look at what's beneath. You need to go into that dark forest. Use your cards. Go into that dark forest and figure out, like, okay, I get on the surface what I'm feeling, but what am I really feeling and why? And what's really up with this? And really be willing to dig deep the first time. And this will also stop you from overthinking, because once you got it solved, you got it solved. So it's about giving yourself the grace and the honor of when you're feeling something, really taking the time in that moment, as soon as you can, to go as deeply as you possibly can to figure it out. That's really the thing. All right. Mediha Ness, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 months. Thanks for using members only emojis. All right, good morning. My emotions, intuition, and logic are always working against each other. Which is on the right track about my current issue I can't get over? How can I align my emotions, intuition, and logic to make better decisions? Okay, so right now, this minute, current issue. Emotions, I think you need to do exactly what I just said to Gemini Sun. You need to do that too. You need to really look at why. What's going on? What are you really feeling? What is deeply true about this? What is at the very core of this? To dig deeply in and figure it out, because there is real healing here for you. That's the thing. Our emotions are harbingers of healing if we allow ourselves to dig into them. And that's something that needs to happen here, Ness. You can do it in your free hour between 3 and 4 in the morning. I know how busy you are, but there it is. Now, intuition. Your intuition right now, it's got a lot of emotion attached to it. Like, I feel like you need to work through the emotions, and then your intuition will be much more in the flow where you need it to be. And logic, you are a logical person. You really are. And if you're not being logical, you will allow other people to redirect you. But I think right now, this minute, Ness, you've got, as you said it yourself, the issue I can't get over. That's driving the bus right now. And I'm not saying that to shame you. I am saying that, okay, that happens. But I'm saying that to say, take the time and the energy to really dig into that and figure out what's up. Use your cards. And then I think everything will be in better balance. None of this is a flaw. And I think you will sometimes look at this and say, this is causing me not to function well, not to make good decisions, whatever. I would say this is not a time to criticize yourself, but it is a time for healing. All right. Jeannie Mnuchin, so good to see you. Thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. We appreciate you so much. My emotions are leaning toward anxiety around the upcoming performance and grant and wondering about work in the fall. How can I quiet these feelings to better know the power of the intuitive pull of my creative direction that's unfolding? Man, I love the way you said that. You are such a good writer. Oh, that was beautiful. Anyway, how can you do that? I mean, I have my own thoughts, but let's see what the cards say. Acknowledge them as the distractions they are, because in each case you have done and are doing every possible thing under the sun and moon that could be done to ensure good outcomes. What more can you do? And so in this case, the anxiety and the intuition, they're really liars. No, not the intuition, sorry. The anxiety is a liar. Because it's saying you're supposed to be worried about these things that you've already got handled. And either it'll go or it won't go, but worrying about it is not going to make any difference. So you need to basically tell that anxiety monster that it's a liar and it needs to sit down. So yeah. So I think it's recognizing that the anxiety is lying and laughing at it. I think that's what you got to do. And then when we talk about that flow of intuition, yeah, that's going to rush right in and that will be the guiding force. And then you will be in that flow and that's going to feel so good creatively. But once you're in that intuitive universal flow, once you're riding that, that'll take you to good places. So, and did y'all see how that was? Ace of Swords reversed and then Knight of Swords? That was cool. That was a cool reading. Hey, Adrija, good to see you. I see your question, and I think I probably do. Can you text me? You and I have a textual relationship, I think. Can you text me on my phone? And when I get off here, I'll text you, and I probably can accommodate you, and I would love to catch up with you. Oh, Joyous Ocean, that's interesting. Inside Out Part 2 does a phenomenal job explaining anxiety. Okay. And, feedback from Ness. I started tarot exactly for all those readings. Thank you so much for being a great teacher and mentor. Well, thank you so much. All right. Melissa, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. Thanks for using members-only emojis. Your newsletter, No Shock, hit the mark with what I'm feeling this week. Man, oh man, I've been feeling it. Work and my 2 staff in particular have brought up some very strong emotions. What is the best way to regulate these emotions and or to work with 2 individuals who offer unique and frustrating challenges to me as their manager? You know what I hate? Even though there can be truth in this sometimes, I hate that new agey tendency for us to say, well, if you've got challenging people, they reflect a part of yourself, or well, if you've got challenging people, it gives you an opportunity to learn something. They're here as a gift. And I mean, these things can be true, right? But that's irritating as heck. So I don't even want to go there. I don't. What is the best way to regulate these emotions? To recognize that it's not abnormal that when people do hurtful things, you're going to feel hurt. That's number 1. But number 2 is going to be to recognize that these people are not specifically trying to hurt you personally. They're trying to hurt what you represent to them. And number 3, that this does bring up some internal stuff because, we talk about what is happening in a more spiritual way. It does bring up some ways where you have been, like the thing is you are so well-intentioned and you're treated like you're not well-intentioned. And I think that really hurts. And I think there have been other times in your life where you've been badly mischaracterized that way, and that just really, really, really hurts. So I think you regulate it by recognizing how much it hurts and recognizing that they're not really, well, it's like in Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? So they didn't do it to hurt me, but what if they did? There's that whole thing. And even if they did, it's not you personally, it's what you represent. And I think it's important to remember that. And to work with these two individuals, I think you have to sort of recognize that they are children and you are the mother. And thank goodness you didn't give birth to these a-holes. But it is like parenting when your kids are at a really obnoxious age. And obviously you don't want to talk to them in a patronizing way, but in your own mind, I think you need to think about it that way. Good luck. Okay. Smile Soul 20, so good to see you. Thanks for being here, for being a member for more than 3 years. Really appreciate you. Good afternoon, friends. I'm feeling it, trying to go out more, enjoying the outdoors. And feeling it. Well, yeah, that's good. And you're in the summer in Connecticut where I know it can be really hot, but also really beautiful. So I'm picturing you riding around on your bike and stuff. I didn't get the question there. Maybe it's not. Maybe that was just good afternoon. So good afternoon to you. I'll keep looking for the question. I'm so happy that you're here and I appreciate you. Justine, again, thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. Thanks for being a moderator. And thank you for the super sticker. Really appreciate it. Hurricane Beryl is just the icing on the cake to how wacky my world is this week. How can I know when to trust my inner knowing versus what everyone else is trying to tell me is best for me? My inner guide is what has gotten me through the last year of hell that has been my life. I want to continue trusting it, my inner knowing, but everyone else is trying to micromanage my life, my medication, my every move. If you tell someone they're crazy enough time, will they begin to think they're crazy? I want to stay strong and trust my inner knowing. They just want me to be held back for some sick reason. No, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. They really want what's best for you. It is so important, Justine, to understand this. They are misguided. They are wrong, but they want what's best for you. And it's so important for you to understand what's going on through that lens. Okay? Oh, and thanks for using members only emojis. So, what I think you need to know right now is, there is so much hurt going on here. There is hurt upon hurt upon hurt. And that's hard. And there's very little, I think what you have to do is, the thing that, when we hear stories of spiritual people who are in very difficult situations and they kind of do that, that inner knowing thing, yes, absolutely, yes, where you have to manage yourself within yourself. You have to be meditative. You have to look within. You have to be your own safe space because there is no other safe space around you right now. That is a horrible situation, but that is true. That's what you have to do. Justine, I suppose on some weird subconscious level that's true, but I don't think it helps you to operate from that perspective. I think the outer story and the conscious story is we're trying to help you. The backstory from my perspective is we just don't know how, and we are overly confident in stupidity. But, you know, if there is some deep subconscious motivation, that is very possible. But thinking about that is not going to help. Okay. And double dip alert, you're so funny. I'm thinking my next move is to find a room to rent from someone off Craigslist or something and then take the first job I can get, be it McDonald's or whatever I can find. First job you can get, absolutely, because you can always work up from there. Renting a room, I mean, the thing is you don't want to do this in this like, okay, fine, I'm going to go do this, you know? Like, don't do it in an angry way. Do it in a, okay, I can do this. I can make this work. And do it in a happy way, you know? The way, like, like, yes, of course, that's a good thing to do. But the energy that you have around it is this very sort of hurt and angry energy, understandably. But don't start your next chapter with hurt and anger. Start your next chapter with anticipation and excitement. All right. Pamela Lath, so good to see you. And once again, thank you so much for being a member for 33 months. And thank you, hang on, I just have to scroll here. Thank you for the generous super chat. And thank you for using members only emojis. What should I let go of right now? I know Dad's mess is all around, but I feel like there's something else too. I think that you are a person who really does always try your best all the time. And I think, like anyone else, you have some people, not a lot, but a few significant ones, who don't want to see that, who don't want to admit that, who want to accuse you of wrongdoing or accuse you of not caring or, you know, whatever. And I think this weighs on you. Nalini, thank you. Yes, you are. I will get back to you as soon as I'm done with Pam. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Pamela, I think it's about letting go of the weight of judgment of people that you wish you could have better relationships with, recognizing that that judgment serves them because it takes away their responsibility. And so it's not about you at all. So there is a level of healing in letting go of your hurt around other people's judgment. Let me know what you think. All right. Now, I'm just going to look at Justine's comments, and then I'm going back to Nalini. Thank you so much. I do see you there. Justine says, right, I'm trying. It's just unfortunate. I was finally getting to a place of pure positivity, and then they came around with round 2 out of nowhere. And then that feeling is what I feel so robbed of more than anything right now. It just makes me sad, angry when it's not what I need right now. I'm trying to rise above it. I just need some time. It's a lot. Every time I feel like it keeps me, every turn, I feel like it keeps me held back. I need stability. Well, I mean, it is egregious. You are not wrong at how egregious it is. You're not wrong. It absolutely is. But you can't be a victim to it, and you can't let it defeat you, because you're the, no. It's really hard. I get that it's really hard, but you can't let this take you down. That's the key. All right, Nalini. Nalini, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. Thanks for using members only emojis. I'm upset because I feel like he was intentionally trying to exclude me from spending time with the kids. I'm feeling emotional and angry, like this was the final straw. Am I wrong? I feel like Like, was he trying to exclude you from seeing the kids? There might be something there. There might be a family dynamic that is difficult and one that he has not managed well. And so he's not ready to talk about it because he hasn't managed it well. And he may not be good at managing those kinds of dynamics in general. But this is about... This is about his dynamic, not so much the dynamic between you and him. Now, we got the Judgment card, which to me would very clearly say, yeah, it's done. But I feel like it's done if you want it to be done. Like, does he want it to be done? I don't think he wants it to be done. Do you want it to be done? I don't know that you want it to be done. I just think there's this issue, and it really comes down to this person needs to be better at talking about emotionally difficult things, at least with you. That's what would make things better, I think. Justine, thank you for your kind words. Yeah, seriously. Thank you. Absolutely. And Melissa, laughing at the irony of being childless and yet having children in the office. I was thinking about that too, without a doubt. All right. So the next question I'm seeing is Martha Vank. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members only emojis. So how can I indeed learn to tap into my intuition more and trust it? I think it's about, in moments of stillness, taking a moment to see what's there and just asking, right? To breathe and clear your mind and just look, like, what do you got for me? And just look. And beyond that, to pay attention to your feelings. To pay attention to what you're feeling, what comes into your mind, what song is in your head. What animal did you see and how did it make you feel? To pay attention to what's going on around you. I mean, you don't have to interpret every single thing, but if it feels like something, pay attention to it. I think those kinds of things, maybe. Let me know what you think. Nalini, this is funny. I mean, yes and no, it's funny. I'm not laughing at your sorrow. The cards are always defending his a-hole behavior. I'm kidding, of course, but there's never a real definite judgment toward him in readings. Well, what there is, I mean, that was a judgment against him because he freaking needs to learn to communicate. That is definitely on him. And it's not that he's bad. It's not that he's trying to hurt you. It's that he is emotionally, he has real issues talking about hard things. And that dynamic, where the kids are concerned, is not good. And it's hard for him to talk about these things. So yeah, that is a judgment against him. But it's also advice for what he needs to do in his own life for his own well-being and for the well-being of his kids. And if he wants this relationship to work, certainly for that too. Martha, I like it. Thank you. Good, 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 good. All right, Free Shadow. So good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members only emojis. I wondered why I was feeling so emotional lately. How can I channel those emotions to learn more about myself? I love that question. So good. Be willing to look at the places in yourself where you feel conflicted and figure out what that conflict has to say about you. Look for the places of conflict. Hey, Hi, Jackie. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your kind words. Ooh. Nalini, my most recent deck purchase is Apprentice by Ace of Wands Company. It's so elegant and magical to shuffle. I've never heard of that one. That's so cool. Thank you. All right, Wendy Robeson, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. We appreciate you. How can I learn to trust my emotions like I trust my intuition when it comes to decisions? Maybe don't. Honor your emotions. Honor your feelings, honor your intuition, but maybe don't make decisions based on emotions solely. Like, pay attention to what the emotions are, know what they are, and let them weigh in, but they should not be the decision-making factor. But they can help you see where you're at and what you want and need. But logic has to be in there as well. Hey, Anne, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members-only emojis. Von Ray, so good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. The past few months, I've been getting on myself for being too sensitive or empathic. I even told my therapist I wish I wasn't so sensitive because I feel too much. I understand. What is something that can help me with these feelings? I'm going to say psychic shielding. Psychic shielding, psychic shielding, psychic shielding. Wendy says, okay. Love you, Wendy. And you know what? Before I do Von Ray, since Wendy's still here, I'm going to say a little more. It's not about trusting your emotions, because your emotions are. It's not something to be trusted or not trusted. It's about knowing what you're feeling and honoring what you're feeling and figuring out why you're feeling that and recognizing that your feelings are important, which is something I think was taken away from you. That's the thing. That's what I think. Does that make sense? Let me know. All right. Von Ray, here we are. What is something that can help me with these feelings? I think you have to have a practice. And I said psychic shielding, and I was being a little funny about it, but I mean it with all seriousness. But I think that's what you need. You need practices. And I'm saying this as one squishy person to another. You need practices where you don't have to feel all the things. That's why a lot of squishy people become addicts, because you need escape. You need escape. And so you have to find a healthy space to escape. Maybe it's music. Maybe it's silly novels or silly TV. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's going out in nature. But find places where you can escape, where you don't have to feel all the feelings all the time. There has to be a place of peace somewhere. I think that's the thing. Wendy, okay, good. Gee, I'm reinforcing the message that my anxiety is a liar from the past. There it is. I love that. I love that. Anxiety is a freaking liar. All right. Liz Moore, so good to see you. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for the generous super sticker. I appreciate you. I've been very emotional lately, and I'm concerned it's affecting my intuition. How can I tap into my intuition more clearly? I think you have to really dig into the emotions first. I think you have to manage the emotions, and the way to manage the emotions is to feel them and figure them out and get them sorted. And there is some deep healing to happen in there, even from recent events and things leading up to recent events. But I think if you can do that, then, because you are naturally such an intuitive person, I think the intuition will just be right there. I think it's just being masked by some heavy things. So you got to dig through those heavy things to get there. Ness, you're so funny. Totally off topic. The Hanged One always makes me see underwear hanging on clotheslines with old-fashioned clothespins. That's funny. If you ever design a deck, there it is. Okay. Anne, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members-only emojis. How can I master or at least control my emotions enough to be able to pay attention to and follow my intuition to get unstuck from my current life situation? Well, I feel like the emotions you have are about the current life situation, right? So I think, in this case, I don't know that intuition is necessarily what you need. Because, intuition is a great thing and it's a great guiding force, but you need a blunt force right now. Like what you're dealing with here is big and it's heavy. And I think what you need more than intuition right now is going to be logic. And I think what you're going to need, you need outside help here. Whether this is a counselor or a social worker or a good friend or a clergy, a reader, I don't know, but you need someone to help guide you through this because it is very, very tricky. You are in a tricky situation here that you have every right to have a lot of emotions about. And I think it's going to be hard to get that under control because the situation keeps happening. And so this is where I think if you can find someone to help you get through this and get to the other side, and that's when you can really open up to the intuition. That's what I think. All righty. Let me scroll on down here. Okay. Baby cakes to the beach in Connecticut. Yay. Okay. Joyous Ocean, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than a year. We appreciate you. I read the newsletter, but I just finished an endoscopy. Oh my gosh, I hope you're okay. I don't remember it, so I don't know what question to ask. We're talking about emotions and intuition. Joanne Ellis. My feelings terrorize my mind and then it goes into overdrive. I don't know how to stop this. At times I'm not very nice to myself. I understand. And I know how bad that feels. Honestly, I think what you need is distraction. Music. Here's a trick. Very, very sour candy. You need a mechanical distraction when your brain is in that space to get you out of it. Sour candy, music, going outside, going into a different space. Do something physical to involve your senses, and your brain won't be able to keep doing what it's doing and still handle that. So I think you need a trick like that, and that will help. Okay. Wendy, growing up in a very patriarchal family, I was always taught my emotions were my enemy. Yeah, right. And that's what you have to unlearn. The emotional woman mindset that says we make poor decisions because of our emotions. Right. And that's the patriarchy saying that because that gives them control over us, right? We can't make decisions. Yeah, right. Right. Vaishali, good to see you. What emotions am I suppressing that need to be expressed more? And am I feeling emotions in the right way that need to be and not overwhelmed by it? Not to get too much drawn into my emotions. Well, you can get drawn in, especially with anxiety. That can be an issue for you. And honestly, I think you have a certain amount of upset based on unfair things that have happened and that you see happening around you. And that is a frustration, and there needs to be a way to safely express that frustration. That's what I think. Adrija. My question, does my dream, which is mostly a nightmare and high heartbeat, hold any meaning. Also, I've had this negative scenarios building up in my mind. Is this intuition or something else? Okay. The dream probably has psychological meaning, but no predictive meaning. But there is something psychological there. We should talk about it. And the negative scenarios in your mind, is that intuition? No, it's probably anxiety and disquiet. Probably not intuition at all. Joyous Ocean. On my inside, voice is horrible and judgmental and sarcastic, but then I take a deep breath and my outside voice sounds solely rational. My children will not do that. I was pretty good at using my inside voice, sharing nice things with them most of the time and apologizing when I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Wendy, the lesson I've been learning this month is letting go of the victim mentality. Even though I have been the victim, it doesn't help me to stay there. Yeah. All right. Okay, next up, Jackie Masters. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. Are my feelings getting in the way? No. My question is, are your feelings about to create something wonderful in your life? I would say not getting in your way. I would say maybe opening up to some good things, at least some positive feelings here. I would say you may be in the position to be experiencing some positive things that will bring about some positive feelings. How about that? All righty. Okay. From my perspective, that's everyone. If I accidentally skipped you, I am so sorry. Please reiterate. If you're here and have not yet asked a question, I'm looking at you, Rosemarie, specifically. It is last call for readings, y'all. You can see I've got the regular live stream reading links up. I'll be back tomorrow at noon. The schedule for tomorrow, Saturday, and Monday is as usual. If you happen to be local, we have our tarot meetup at Panera Bread in Palm City this Sunday, 4 p.m. Would love to see you there. I am available for readings. The link to book is right in the description. Please do reach out. Joyous Ocean. I acknowledge emotions and move forward logically, but I do think intuition is powerful, but my response to take action is always slower than I would like, and I miss opportunities. Oh gosh, we're going back to talk about that for 1 second. Yeah, I got it. When we look at that, the reason you don't act right away is generally out of fear and you talk yourself out of it. So maybe don't do that. Maybe don't talk yourself out of it. Just be like, yeah, I'll do that. Okay, I'll do that. And you can always check. I mean, if your intuition is telling you to do something crazy, it's not your intuition, right? So check in and make sure it seems like an okay thing to do. But just jump on it and do it. That's really the key. It's fear. It's fear of making a mistake. That's what I think it is. And I recognize, Jackie Masters, yes, you did. I am so sorry. Yeah, but it was just a couple minutes ago, so it's an easy rewind for you. So, Joyous Ocean, I feel like I feel like it's a matter. I think when you were growing up, if you made a decision that an adult in your life didn't like, you would hear about it a lot. And I think that's the problem. I think you have to heal from that. That's what I think's going on. I think you still have that inner adult voice in your life, and that's what's slowing you up. Let me know what you think. Jackie Masters, you are very welcome. All right, friends, it is last call for readings, y'all. I want to thank you so much. Joyous Ocean, agreed. Okay, got it. All right. I appreciate all of you. Book your readings, get your StaarCon tickets. Meet me back here tomorrow at noon. Thank you all so very much for being here. And those generous people who have helped out with super chats, super stickers, the members, the moderators, I appreciate all of you so much. Take good care and have a great day.